Hey guys, what's up? This is UAce23 playing Kerbal Space Program, and again with the launch of TDRS-A. Last time, both launches of TDRS-A failed because of a problem with the interstage adapter. Sorry, not the interstage adapter, the payload adapter. That problem should be fixed soon. And, yeah. Once the rocket's ready to launch. So here we come. Here we go. Once we fix everything. Everything should be fixed as the game continues to load. And the stream may be a little bit laggy, but don't worry about that. Yeah, the stream's going to end up a bit laggy, but don't worry. So we're launching again in the Atlas V 401 configuration. I'm just going to hang up the Skype call I'm in. So yeah, I'm launching in the 401 configuration on my Atlas V rocket.
Stop.
All right. And we're back, and we're getting ready to launch. So we'll be launching in, let me set up a timer here. In T-minus 15, in T-minus 30 seconds. Status check confirmed, status check complete. Both Centaur and core booster pressures are at flight level. In T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4 and a half, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket carrying the first tracking data and relay satellite for NASA. The tracking data and relay satellites continue to provide communications from spacecraft to the ground. We should have roll program start. Roll program has started. You can see we've added an additional mod in the form of engine light. So that should make night launches much more interesting. The Atlas V rocket is flying in the 401 configuration, almost a minute into the flight, altitude approaching 1 kilometer. Autopilot running. Forgot to activate the autopilot. Autopilot was activated late, 1 minute 12 seconds into the flight to be precise. Spacecraft only weighs 74,000 kilograms. This is the lightest Atlas launch configuration possible. The only ways I could go heavier are in the 5-meter configuration, or the 4-meter configuration with solids. As the spacecraft is continuing to maintain a nominal flight, approaching Mach 1. Altitude 3 kilometers, approaching 2 minutes into the flight. Mark 2 minutes into the flight. Downrange distance over 500 meters and approaching a kilometer. Spacecraft is performing nominally. Let me set up. So the spacecraft is continuing with a nominal flight ascent. Here you can see we're approaching Mach 1. We're at Mach 0.9 as we throttle the Common Core. So we throttle the main engine back to 66% thrust in preparation for Mach 1, 7 kilometers in altitude. I'm launching in just stock. These launches will fill the gaps between this launch and our MOHO launch. We might launch a space station in between then, but it all depends on how full the launch manifest is of satellites. Currently, there are 8 GPS satellites of a 24 satellite constellation. The next satellite should launch tomorrow aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. Yes, the Falcon 9s are usually not used to launch GPS satellites, but in this case, CurbX has offered to launch the next 3 satellites, as the spacecraft is now approaching 4 minutes into the flight. The booster is throttled down to its minimum thrust. At altitude is 15 kilometers, apogee of 19. We're still very much in the atmosphere. You can see the Kerbal Space Center there. We've traveled about 5 kilometers since liftoff. So we're 4 minutes 40 seconds into the flight, traveling at approaching 500 meters per second surface velocity, as the core booster throttles back up to 100% thrust. And is throttled down to 86% to maintain G-force on the vehicle. The spacecraft is at 600 meters per second, and we're approaching 5.5 minutes into the flight. It's been 5.5 minutes since liftoff. Mark 5.5 minutes. Apogee of 35, traveling at 700 meters per second. %100 throttle. Oh, wait, sorry. 76% throttle set. 6 minutes, 10 seconds into the flight, 28 kilometers in altitude, downrange distance, 16 kilometers. I know I should have a MechJub thing for it. I know I should have it somewhere here in MechJub. Downrange distance, 33 kilometers. Sorry. 33 kilometers downrange, altitude 31 kilometers with an apogee of 50. As we're preparing for booster engine cutoff, or BECO. After BECO, the Centaur will separate from the main stage will separate from the Centaur engine, and then we will have Centaur ignition. The spacecraft does not have enough delta V to reach 50 or 70 kilometers apogee. Downrange distance approaching 45 kilometers. 7 minutes and 21 seconds into the flight. Mark 45 kilometers. SEP. Standing by for Centaur ignition. Mark. We have fairing SEP. And we have Centaur start. There's the problem. The fairing separates before the Centaur starts. Spacecraft only weighs 74 kilograms. 4,000 kilograms. This is the lightest Atlas launch configuration possible. The only ways I could go heavier are in the 5-meter configuration, or the I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna stream on YouTube as well. And the 4-meter configuration with solids. This is going to be an Atlas night launch, so we're gonna have the Atlas rocket out on the pad. As all the propellants were loaded. Maintain a nominal flight, approaching Mach 1. All right. Altitude 3. We have autopilot on. Kilometers, approaching 2 minutes into the flight. Mark 2 minutes into the flight. Alright, I just need to take a moment. The Atlas will sit on the pad until I'm ready to launch. I'm just going to pause the game. And I need to do something else right now. Downrange distance over 500 meters. And approaching a kilometer. Spacecraft is performing nominally. Let me set up. So the spacecraft is continuing with a nominal flight ascent. Here you can see we're approaching Mach 1. We're at Mach 0.9 as we throttle the Common Core, as we throttle the main engine back to Alright, so here I'm going to be using YouTube as well. Oh, preparation for Mach 1. 7 kilometers in altitude. I'm launching in just stock. This launch... So right now we've got our Atlas sitting on the pad here, which we're going to launch in a short time. Here we can see the Atlas we're launching in T-minus 15 seconds. Engine start. Engine chill down.